Hey, what's up, everyone? Alex here from Computer Headquarters, and it's been a little bit since I've updated any of the interested parties about the Artesian build stuff. I know a lot of you are interested, all few hundred of you. I'm not a very big YouTube channel, obviously, but that's fine. There are a couple people interested, and I like making videos when I have time. So I just wanted to kind of make a positive video today because there have been plenty of negative things that have happened, I would say, with the Artesian builds bankruptcy auction purchases. And I usually, in general, I try to keep things positive. And so anyway, we sold our first 2 Artesian builds computers this week. So that's a positive thing to say, right? We probably have 100. So maybe in the grand scheme of things, you could say it was a drop in the bucket. In the grand scheme of how much money I spent on all of this equipment, selling 2 computers is not a big deal. We sold plenty of other stuff, by the way. All-in-ones, motherboards, video cards, CPUs. We've sold all sorts of, lots of cases too, especially the ASA pyramid case. We had 12 of those. I think we've sold all of those so far, and they were $300 each, so that was pretty good. But sorry, as far as the custom-built PCs go, I think we have around 100 of them, and they're in various forms of completion, and it's a lot of work to go through them. And maybe some of you guys might be interested in that process. So I'm gonna explain that real quick. We don't know when we bought these auction computers, or when we won the auction and bought all the equipment, we don't know exactly what computers we're getting. It was just said 43 computers in various states of completion. So we could look through pictures and we could do our best to try to guess what might be there, but you really don't know until you know, right? If that makes sense. So the process for us that we're doing is a technician touches every single computer. So they go through it and they record all the information about the specs of that computer onto a spreadsheet that we keep. It's more complicated than that, but let's just say it's a software-based something or other, and that keeps all that data there. And then I personally go through that data and go, okay, here are the specs of that computer. Are they missing? Are we gonna part out the whole system and take the video card out, take the motherboard out, take the CPU, and just sell each part as an individual part? Or are we gonna sell it as a full system? And if we're gonna sell it as a full system, the way that it's configured right now, is that okay? Or do we need to say add a video card? Maybe there was no video card, because that was actually very common for the video card to be missing. Or were there 4 SSDs and we think that's a little bit overkill, and most customers don't want 4 SSDs, it's wasted money. So if there were 4 2 terabyte NVMe 4.0 SSDs that sell for $250 each, are we gonna take out 3 and leave 1? That type of thing. So we have to make those decisions. I make those decisions, and then based on the data, I determine what price I think we're gonna sell it for. And that might be kind of fun for you guys to see too. So let's make my camera get small so you guys can see my screen. I don't know why I did that noise. All right, so hopefully you can see this pretty well now. And these are the 2 computers that we sold, and it shows the specs on them. So what I'm doing is I'm estimating what I want to sell these computers for, and unlike Artesian builds, they would typically take I'm speculating, but they would probably take the costs of all the parts, and I think they're buying most of those parts from distribution, Amazon, StockX, places like that, and then they would mark it up in what I saw, probably $1,000 to $3,000 per system, depending on how high end the build was. They'd mark up higher for a more expensive system. So what I'm doing is I'm going, okay, this system has a 5900X. What price am I going to value that part in the build for? And I will just typically jump on Amazon and I'll do 5900X, and whoa, they're going cheap right now, $360. So actually my price here was from the other day. It's from a week or so ago when I think they were going for over 400. So those are on sale right now. But I could, in this case, I'd go, oh, I'm gonna drop that down to 360, but a lot of times I'll go even lower than Amazon, 350. Here's another one. Let's look at this next one right here. Ryujin 2360. $415 right now. So that actually went up in price because those were $350 last week. and I'm marking them at $325. So that's a really good deal. Asus ROG Crosshair, and it says Crosshair Extreme. It's Crosshair 8, because they never made a different Crosshair Extreme. I already know that was the person. I already talked to the employee to double check, and they confirmed that was a Crosshair 8 Extreme. So this board's going for like almost $900, and I put $800. So anyway, you're seeing a theme here. I like to go a little bit under the Amazon price. Sometimes a little bit more than, depends on what the product is, but sometimes I'll go at the Amazon price. Sometimes I go aggressively less than the Amazon price. And then when we get to things like sleeved extension cables, tube sleeves, like the RGB tubing sleeves, case lighting, and the fans and stuff, I try to go extra low or $0. So a lot of the sleeve stuff, definitely I go $0, because I'm trying not to pass a lot of that customization stuff to the next customer, and that's mainly because I think it will sell better with a lower price, and I'm trying to sell the stuff, fast, sooner than later. So that's my plan. And like, for instance, this computer at the top, when you look at all of those prices without putting any money on the extension cables and all that other stuff, it came out to about $3,800. Now we could see the price that Artesian sold that computer to the other person for, and this exact computer, because the order form was left on the computer system, and it was approximately $7,800. So I mean, we're pretty close to half price, right? I'm tired, and I don't like doing math when I'm tired, so yeah, actually we're less than half price at that spot. Sometimes I think we're over half price, sometimes we're under half price, but I generally I've told people that have been talking to me about it that I'm around half price, which is a crazy smoking good deal. Like, that's just I've been doing this for a long time. I think a lot of these are really good deals, and these are, but only for people that are actually trying to spend big money. It's a really good deal. Most people aren't buying a $4,000 PC in my experience. So anyway, that's the process. And so let's talk about the two builds that we have now sold as of today. And just to be clear, we have not posted any of our inventory from Artesian builds for sale on the internet yet, but they should be going on live next week once we get pictures of all of them and have the specs all ready to go and the things on the shelf ready to ship. So we sell on our website, chqstore.com. We also sell on eBay under computer-hq. We also sell on Newegg under Computer Headquarters, and we sell on Amazon under Computer Headquarters. These computers will not be on Amazon because we're not able to sell custom PCs on Amazon. It doesn't work that way. So if you'd like to buy one, you can either email me, which you should be able to find my email through YouTube or finding our website. I'm not going to say it on here on a video, or you can just message us through any of those places where we sell things. But the best place, in our opinion, to buy something from us is on chqstore.com, because if I remember correctly, I think there's a slight discount that is on that website compared to, like, say, eBay. Anyway, so that's where you can buy one if you want one, or if you have questions. And if you want us to just custom build you a computer, we can do that too, and it doesn't take weeks like other places. It usually will take 3 to 4 days if we have all the parts in stock. Sometimes it'll take literally 1 day if we're not super busy. So you can always ask. Anyway, 2 builds sold. And these are because we have emailed every single person who we could find the contact information for them on all of the builds that came through. We wanted there to be a time gap for all those people to get back to us and say, yes, I want my computer, or no, I already bought a computer. So far, only 2 people I've talked to said that they didn't get their money back. One of those people was actually a YouTuber who I met, and he paid with a debit card, unfortunately, and that was the big problem. He was like, yeah, it was a huge mistake. He just was in a hurry, and it was on like the remember thing on his computer. And he's like, I'm gonna take that debit card right off my computer and never use debit again, because debit card doesn't give you as good of protection for purchases. So that was a bummer for him. It was a keyboard, actually not a computer, and it was about $1,400. So that's a bummer for him. And then the other person was also a YouTuber. And I think he was in the affiliate program. I'd have to ask him again, but I'm not sure if he actually paid the money or if he was owed the money and he spent it through like a credit that was owed to him. But in any case, the majority of tons of people I talked to all had paid with credit card and they got their money back. And surprisingly, most of them did not want their computer. Maybe that's not surprising because it's been a long time. But here are the two people that have actually purchased computers. I have one more person that seems to want a computer from us as well, but his system was just a custom case with nothing inside of it. So we're working with him to figure out what specs he wants. And I'm actually pretty confident next week we'll have him dialed in as well with his own custom case, and we'll build the whole thing. So here are the two builds. This was a 5900X with a Ryujin 2360. I'm not going to show pictures of these because these were both very custom computers that had basically panels that say who the person was on them. And so anyway, this guy that bought this one, he's going to make some YouTube videos about it, and I'll probably talk about it again later. I can say who he is. He's Christopher Yee. Sorry, and maybe I said that earlier already. He was here today. He's great. Really good guy to be around. Got along with him really well. Would love to get a beer with him sometime if we had time to do that too. But anyway, so he bought this from me. And I'm not going to get into some of the things he's going to do with it, but he'll make videos about that and it should be fun. But I showed him this price that I was targeting at $3,800, and he was like, that's a great deal. I'll take that. And I even said, hey, you know what? I'll knock off some money off of that. And he thought the offer that I gave him that was less than $3,800 was too low. He's like, you're a bad businessman. This is bad for your business. The original price you gave me was really good. Like, let's just settle halfway between where you had just said, which I think is too low. He was actually pushing me to sell to him for more money, which was very nice of him to do. And I was just happy to sell him a computer, to be honest with you. So that went really well, and that's a pretty good sale, to be honest with you. Over $3,000. That's great. So then the next computer was a little bit more difficult, and actually, this is funny. They both have similar processors. They both have Ryujin 2 360mm. They both have the Crosshair 8 Extreme, which is a really rare and expensive motherboard. And they both have the same RAM. That's interesting, huh? I actually never noticed the similarities here. They have similar almost everything. But in any case, this gentleman had told me, and I have no proof of this, he said that the processor that was in the computer here, this 5950X, that he actually mailed that in to Artesian Builds. They asked, I don't know if they asked him to or if he suggested it, but he mailed that in for them to install into the motherboard and build his whole system around it. And then they never gave him back his computer. So, I mean, that sucked for him, right? He like lost the money on the processor. He probably assumed he would never see that processor again. And so I think he was lucky, in my opinion, that he talked to me, because if I remember correctly, his original price without the processor and without a video card, he said he had his own video card, was like close to $4,000. I think it was $3,800. And if we would have been selling this with the processor, we were around $3,900. I told him that I believe him about the processor, and that I will subtract the value of the processor away from what I thought this was worth. And that was my offer to him, was $2,400. So if you take, $2,945 and subtract $550 for the CPU, I was at about $2,400. I thought that was a pretty good deal. He said, can you do better? And we ended up settling at $2,000 even, which is a killer deal for how much those parts all cost. And he also had a custom wrap on the PC and a custom etch side panel. So this is like a very awesome custom PC that, again, it used to be he originally paid $4,000, got all of his money back, and then now paid $2,000. He paid half price. So that's not even including the CPU stuff. So he did pay for the CPU, and he had his own video card. Sorry, I've been talking all day. My voice is hoarse. So there's the two computers we already sold. I'm very happy about those already going out the door. I'm looking forward to next week to hopefully selling at least one more to another person that got back to me. It's honestly been pretty disappointing how many people got back to me from the emails I sent out. I also called a lot of people personally to try to get them on the phone and say, hey, I've got your computer, and do you want it? And most people just either didn't answer their phone. Actually, literally not one person answered their phone or called me back on the voicemails I left. I think I called 20 or 30 people. So that's a little disappointing that people don't even call back. And then yeah, emails, I think probably 5 or 10 people out of 40, I think it was, that I had contact info. Like only that a few people actually got back to me. So that was a little bit disappointing. I was actually really hoping to have more stories of like, oh, this person was like so upset and things went so wrong, and then I gave them this really crazy good deal and like kind of fixed things for them. I was really looking forward to that, and it didn't happen as much as I was hoping it would. But I guess my next best thing I can do is just, sell these computers for really good prices, so that hopefully it makes other people really happy the people that were wanting to buy computers like this 6 months ago and maybe they couldn't afford it at the time, and the prices in the market have gone down a bunch. And so maybe that same computer they wanted 6 months ago tricked out with like 9 Corsair QL fans or Lian Li fans and like an O11 dynamic, like one of these mega builds, like those were $6,000 to $8,000 at Artesian builds, and I'm going to be the guy putting them on eBay and my website for between $3,000 and $5,000 depending on how crazy it was. There are a couple computers that I think were like $9,000 or $10,000 originally that were still going to be pretty expensive on, like we're probably going to be $4,000 or $5,000 on those, but our prices are going to be really good, and I'm looking forward to making a lot of people happy with these computers, and maybe we'll get some new customers that we'll just keep building systems for. So I think I covered most of the things I wanted to talk about today in this video, and yeah, I'm just going to keep making videos. There's so much stuff I can make videos about. It's just time right now. I will definitely make a video though. The next video will probably be about the Durham, North Carolina facility stuff, because yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it right now, but there's interesting stuff there. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks guys.